Welcome to the Bernadette Jackson Podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette Jackson. A few weeks ago, we saw Jada Pinkett Smith bring herself to the red table because she had an entanglement with August Alsina. I want to talk about some of the points from that conversation that stood out to me. Jada is a fatherless daughter. She and her father have been estranged since her youth. There were a few things that she said that are classic statements that fatherless daughters make, because we all at one point or another have experienced fatherless daughter trigger points. Before I get to the statement she made, let me explain what a fatherless daughter trigger point is. A fatherless daughter trigger point, or FDTP, are the subconscious feelings and behaviors associated with our father loss that are based on how we process that pain. There are about 15 fatherless daughter trigger points that I have found in my research and that are documented. If you want to learn more about fatherless daughter trigger points, or if you want to see a list of what they are, you can head on over to my fatherless daughter community on IG called FD Playbook. So that's FDPLAYBOOK, all one word. So let's talk about what stood out to me about what Jada said about her entanglement with August and why it happened. Jada mentioned that she was helping August through a difficult time, and that her doing this made her feel needed and, dare I say, worthy. She said that she found herself always gravitating to men that needed fixing because she was her happiest when she was filling a need. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. This stood out to me because fatherless daughters equate much of their worth in relationships to how useful they can be to those they love. We often mother our significant others, become the caregivers to our friends, and generally overextend ourselves in relationships with no expectation of reciprocity or to the detriment of our own experiences in that relationship. We do these things because a lot of the time we do not like who we are, and we don't think that we are enough to garner the love and support that we give to others. We often feel like we need to prove that we are worthy to be loved. The other reason is that we are scared that if we don't prove our worth in relationships, that we will be abandoned by those we loved, just as our father abandoned us. The second thing that stood out to me was that Jada said she needed to figure out what made her happy. She had lived with herself for 48 years and didn't know what made her feel seen, heard, understood, loved, happy. I can personally relate to this because I didn't know what made me happy and what I needed from my loved ones until I got intentional about healing from my father loss. We are often so fixated on making sure that everyone around us has everything that they need that we neglect ourselves. I know I'm not the only one here. If I'm honest, some of us are scared to give voice to what our needs are because we feel like if we speak up, our loved ones will think what we need isn't worth the trouble, and where will we be then? Abandoned and alone, right? Well, let me tell you that this conversation with Jada really illustrates how fatherless daughters actually show up in relationships. Many of us giving our all in entanglements masquerading as healthy relationships. I want more for you. I want more from me. I've been there numerous times. If you take nothing away from this podcast episode, please know that your father's absence doesn't take away from how awesome you are, how much you have to offer just because of who you are, and that you are stronger than you think because you survived the trauma of your father not being there. You are loved. Thank you for joining me in this episode. I'll see you in the next one.